I often make videos where I'm reading a story or a poem, but I hardly ever make videos about my own personal life. But I would like to start doing that. The issue is I don't really know what to talk about. But fortunately, I once wrote an entire memoir, so I can just flip to a random page and tell you that story. The story that I have landed on is called Lip Reading, which fortunately is an extremely happy story, and I am saying that sarcastically. The story Lip Reading is about my grandpa, and more specifically about a particular conversation that we had. But to understand this story, you're going to need a little bit of backstory. In high school, my grandpa and I were incredibly close. We talked on the phone almost every day. But by the time lip reading comes around, my grandpa and I were no longer talking on the phone at all. But not for the reasons that you might suspect. You see, my grandpa was a smoker, a heavy smoker, and because of it, he had to get his larynx removed, or his voice box, as some people call it. Essentially, he was now unable to speak. Now, there was this technology that would have allowed him to speak, where he would take this machine and kind of press it up against his throat. But my grandpa was very, let's call it, hard-headed. And because of it, he refused to ever learn the skill. He was also illiterate, which means that he could not read or write, so we couldn't communicate in that way. And so the only way that he was able to communicate with us was by moving his lips and hoping that we would be able to read what he was trying to say, which is not easy. Which brings us to the conversation that we had in the story called Lip Reading. My grandma told me that my grandpa had something that he wanted to tell me. And this is what I saw. I knew immediately what he was saying, but I was not ready to hear it, so I asked him to repeat himself. And then I asked him to repeat himself again and again and again until finally I broke down and I accepted the news that he, once again, had cancer. And this was the cancer that finally killed him. So anyway, what do you guys think of this new segment where I flip through my memoir and tell you guys stories? If you would like me to do this again, let me know in the comments. It's not all depressing in here. I mean, mostly, but not entirely.